So I've decided that since everyone was complaining that the laptop was too slow, and actually was, I was going to replace the hard drive with the SSD. Now, how did I come up to this solution? So if you do Control Alt Delete, you'll come up with basically a snippet of what's going on within your computer. It tells you the resources that are being utilized. It tells you memory. It tells you hard drive. It tells you a plethora of things on there. So after watching it for a long time, I realized that yes, sometimes it was the CPU. However, the one resource that was constantly being used 100% of the time was a hard drive. So that can mean many things. That can mean that either it had a virus, or the computer just couldn't keep up, or didn't have enough memory. It can mean so many things. Anyway, I just concluded that being that 100% of the time the hard drive was being maxed out, was that it was reading and writing. So that's when I realized, I need to replace the hard drive with the SSD. Now, I wasn't sure that was going to be the issue, because there could be some software on there that is just overwhelming the computer overall. So, but I figure I start there because the SSD will always speed up any computer when you compare it to a actual spinning hard drive. So I did that. I actually ended up cloning the hard drive, which usually the most effective way to go about this is to actually do a complete reinstall of your software. That way you do away with all the junkware that the computer comes with, or any junk that you installed and you really don't use. You just get rid of it because you don't need it. But that uses resources. So like I said, I ended up cloning the hard drive with onto an SSD. I figure I start there to see what the difference was. And if it was still slow, then I would just do away with everything and start fresh. Well, lo and behold, as you guys will see, I replaced the hard drive with the SSD, and it boots up like that. It responds a whole lot better. I do Control Alt Delete. I watch the resources, and I notice that, holy crap, the read-write percentile on the SSD is like in the 20s compared to 100% of the time. So now the next best thing to speed that laptop up would be the CPU, which replacing CPU on a laptop is not really worth it. It's a lot of trouble. You got to desolder a lot of stuff. Blah. This is not going to be in regards to cloning a hard drive. I may or may not include some links as to the software that I used and the process that I went through. But like I said, this is just strictly about the hardware, how to replace the hardware, okay? Well, on to the video. Welcome to Gear Latte. So today what we're going to be doing is putting an SSD drive onto this laptop here. So a while back, this is the only computer we had here at Guialante, was this laptop. However, after getting into doing some video editing and stuff, there was next generation of computing, which we built our own PC. Well, with that brought faster computer power. Well, what that meant was that no one actually wanted to use the laptop anymore. So everybody wanted to be on the computer now. So whenever I wanted to do a video edit or do any research, there was no place to do it except the laptop. So today I'm going to put an SSD onto it, hopefully make it faster, to kind of kick other people to the curb back onto the laptop. Okay, so bear with me. We're just going to be following along. Let's see what this is going to be like. All right, so we'll move that over a little bit, and we'll have to move this puppy over. Thought I had all this all set up. Apparently not. So we're going to shift that just slightly that way. Alright. Maybe do a little moonwalk here. Moonwalk. Alright. See how that works. We've shifted over. Let's see. If I could just get my big head out the way. Slightly down. I thought I had it all set up. But not the case. Alright. Pull back a little bit here. I'll try to stay out of the way as much as possible. I'll maybe shift this over. Alright, so get that turned over. Let's get Froggy back in here. He's always keeping quiet. Notice, he speaks no evil. He's always quiet. He just likes to watch. Alright, so we're going to put him there. Let's start off with, first, there's going to be, I believe, this little, no, maybe not. Oh, no, yeah, there is. Usually, I know that they like to hide stuff under here. It doesn't look like that's the case. Okay. Alright, so we'll put that back. Like I said, some manufacturers like to hide screws under there. That is not the case with this one. So let's put this back. Interesting, by just pulling it and kind of stretched it. Alright, so there's that back. So it looks like we got looks like 5 screws so far. There may be 5 plus 9 screws. There may be one under here, so we'll find out. Okay, let's look. Put that off to the side. We're going to be using, I believe this should be all we need there. And maybe this one. Alright. Out to the side it goes. Turn it over. And Phillips. Let's see. Well, that's good for that one. That'll be good for those. Big one there. We got some smaller ones down here. And that's going to be it. Okay. So let's start out with these 3 over here. Well, 2. On these 2 outer edges towards the hinges. Alright. And like I always say, I advise that you guys have some kind of magnetic place to put all the screws so they don't get lost. In this case, this little kit brought one of these, and we're going to use that. Hopefully, like I said, this takes care of the slow boot up. And even after booting up, once you're in the computer, for some reason you do Control-Alt-Delete and to find out what's taking, what resources are being used, and it's always pigging the hard drive at 100%. So, and I kind of disabled as many software programs as possible. I just could not figure out what's slowing it down. So, hopefully, having an SSD as the hard drive speeds this thing back up to where it used to be. Like I said, there aren't too many programs on here anyway. But for some reason it's slow. Alright, so where's that? Put that there. We're moving right along here. And eventually, what I might end up doing is just building another computer for either it to be the main computer or for myself. Alright, so I'm going to get this DVD player out of the way here. So I believe, like I said, there's always hidden screws somewhere. So let's look in here. Yep, there's definitely one in there. So this has glue. We're going to set that off to the side there. Make sure it stays nice and clean. Take out the one hidden screw here. That one's smaller, so I'm going to put that on that side there. Alright. Clamshell. So I'm going to, these computers, laptops I mean, I believe you got to okay. Alright, so to open up the clamshell, Mr. Froggy fell down. Let's put him back up. So, and this kit brought one of these. So it's at an angle, and we put that between the two clamshells here and kind of move it along. You should hear it kind of a dull pop, and that's the clamshell actually releasing. Never done this before. So it is kind of scary. So even though not too many people like to utilize this laptop, nonetheless, it's a laptop, and in a pinch, you can grab it and take it with you and do some work. Alright, so we're just going to keep going around, continue to go around. Now I don't know if you guys can tell, it has separated the clamshell. Now we're going to close this very lightly, turn it over, hopefully without popping it back into place, and continue kind of pry it apart here. almost feels like there's another one. So, like I was saying, there's always one hidden one. So we're going to see if we have anything. I suspect that there is one hidden under what appears to be a sticker, the same color as the rest of the laptop here. And that is not the case. Oh, I'm surprised, okay. Try to put that sticker back. I don't know why. Alright, so that's taken out. So if that's all out, You know what? Let's see. Oh, there is not one there. So let's pull back a bit here. So it seems to be okay. So it felt like there was still another one in there, but it just needed a little bit more force over here towards the hinges in this area here. And like I said, I've never done this before, so I was trying to be as careful as possible. Interesting. Like I said, never done this before. So, all right, so we got that. Let's bring you back into the action here. Push this back, Mr. Froggy. Let me go and move you over to this corner, but still keep you under scene there. All right. Very interesting. So, I don't know if you guys can, if that comes out in the picture, but this battery here is it's actually all bloated, which means the battery is bad. So, and this laptop is only a couple years old. Actually, let me see. It's probably about 3 years old. Doesn't get much use. Yeah, this battery is shot. Battery usually only lasts, I think, about an hour. Okay, so back in the groove of things. I don't know why that stopped. All right, so one thing that you should do once you start mucking around in here is disconnect the battery. You just don't want this thing powering on for any reason. So I believe let's see, I'll bring you guys in a little bit. Let's see. So that's got to be for the battery there. Actually, yeah, you normally would want to remove all power, get rid of the power source, just so it doesn't end up causing any issues. So you want to disconnect the battery usually, okay? Right now, what we want to deal with is right here, the hard drive. So
So with this, I believe you lift this up, or is it over here? Let's find out. Let's get a close up. All right. So what you do is this little white tab here, you lift it up. And once you lift it up, you're able to pull the connector out, right? So that's out. I believe what I read on the manual is that you want to shift this hard drive. Is it that way, I believe? Let's see. Let's take a closer look at it here. Maybe it just comes, okay. So when it comes to the hard drive, you just pull straight up. And there's your hard drive. Okay, here it is. And once again, this is an actual hard drive, so it spins, meaning it's slow. Okay. So hard drives, this is not a video about, you know, telling you hard drives work, but a hard drive has this platters. It's basically like an old radio record, so it's spinning. So depending on your generation, you knew what a record is, and then I had a needle that rode on this round record. And a hard drive will store files. Well, let me go back a bit. So a hard drive may consist of different, like I said, levels. So different records. And then they're not called records. I'm just using that as a reference because it's round and it has information in it. So it may have several records that stacked on top of each other, and then it's going to have something similar to this. These needle nose plier things, and then the record will spin between these two heads, and each head will read information for a different level. So, and a file may be stored in different levels. So, the hard drive will have to spin in these. I can't remember what they're called, but it needs to get like I said, a hard drive is going to be stored in different locations. So, in order to bring up a file, it will have to go to different sectors to actually read it. Meaning, it's going to slow it down. So the bigger the file, and depending on where it's located, it's going to slow any hard drive down. So now when it comes to SSD, there is no spinning part, so it's much faster. And like I said, that's going to be a video for you guys to do some research on your own in regards to that. Right now, we're gonna go and grab the SSD if we can get out of here. Like I said, I did have this all set up previously, but I had to move around. Another thing you'll want to do is actually set up your you'll want to set up your hard drive, your SSD. And I don't know, I may or may not get into that later, how to set up a SSD. So you'll want to copy what's on your hard drive. You basically want to clone your hard drive onto the SSD so it boots just like the other computer, or better yet, do a fresh install of Windows and all the programs. That's much better. All right, so in order for these to actually fit into the case here, we're going to actually utilize these adapters, and these are, on this model, they're pretty simple. It looks like they're just they're plastic, have these little pegs that go in these little holes, and luckily the SSD is just like the hard drive, and it has the corresponding little holes here. So you just stick it on there. If it fits, pull them off of it, pull them off of that one, put it onto here. Pretty odd the way these fit. Alright, so now we're going to pull the connector from the actual hard drive and put it onto the SSD. Okay, so here goes that. Or is it this way? Yeah, it's this way. Put that in there and find where the hard drive was sitting, which I believe was somewhere as such. Alright, so lower it in place. Alright, so push this back a bit. Lower it into place. Lift up this door here, and then put in this cable. This cable almost reminds me of the way DJI does their cables. These are a little different. Let's get a little closer look on here. Has to fit. So you basically lay it back in place here. So you got to shove it in there, and it has little tabs, and it has corresponding corners there on the board for it to lay in, and then you push this door back down so it will actually hold on to it there. So that should be it. That should be it there. I still can't believe that battery. That battery is a big issue. Look at that. That thing's ready to pop. So I'm gonna have to order a replacement. All right. So we did make a backup of that drive, but it did give me an error at one point. I thought I nipped it in the butt. So let's see. So hard drive, the SSD is in place. Let's hit the power button here. Let's see if it boots up. If not, then we'll have to deal with cloning the hard drive again. Alright, so it looks like the laptop is up and running. And all that took less than, 10 minutes? So, and then we'll talk about which model this was in a bit. Actually, let's look at that now. So this is a HP 15-AU018WM. So it's a few years old. It's a 6th generation Intel Core 15.6, and it has the NVIDIA GeForce 940M with 12 megs of system memory. So it has enough memory. It was just the fact that the hard drive kept spinning forever. So there you have it. Alright, so now we're gonna put everything back. Now, as you've seen, we put the clamshell temporarily back on just to see, make sure everything was working properly. Okay, and it is. And it booted up so quickly, just so quickly. So that tells you what the difference having an SSD in comparison to an actual hard drive makes. So it booted this computer up as if it was a different computer altogether. Very comparable to the desktop. So big difference that it made. Sorry about that. I was blowing off some air. I'll probably end up editing that out because that was pretty loud. We're gonna close it all up and order that battery and deal with that at a later time. All right, so everything's in place. We're just gonna just make sure you have this on a flat surface. I'm applying equal pressure, not pleasure. That would be pleasurable. Equal amounts of pressure around the perimeter. Okay, that's very important. Around the perimeter, not in the middle. That's where all the sensitive items are. All right, so it seems to be all back in place. Okay, like I said, very important that this is laying on a flat surface. Okay, so that's back in there. Now we're gonna put the two big screws in here, which were on this leading edges up here. Okay. And like I said, I'll end up doing this again once I get that replacement battery for this. And the rest should be all the same size. Oh, do know, I do know for a fact that this one screw here in the middle is the screw that corresponds with the DVD CD slash burner. This one is a rewritable DVD, so not many computers still have those. However, I'm kind of old school. I like having a DVD burner. Having that gives you the option of burning DVD. Not necessarily burning DVDs, but you can also utilize a DVD to actually burn information. So copying mass amount of information onto it and save for later. Or if for some reason you deal with software, virtual DVDs online, which are actually stored as an ISO file, basically a virtual DVD. It's an image of a DVD in which, if you open it with the correct piece of software, your computer will see it as a DVD that was just put onto the computer, on and on and on. So just recently I was having issues with a vehicle and I went online and purchased the repair manual in the form of an ISO, which basically is a DVD. And rather than, having that individual mail me the DVD, I asked them, hey, do you just happen to have the ISO file? Which he did. Great. I said, yeah, look, just send it to me. He was kind of hesitant. He was like, well, most people don't know how to deal with these. I said, just send me the ISO. I know how to mount it. Basically, have the computer read it as if I had the physical DVD. And he did, and it worked great. And it took all but about just a few minutes for me to have that information in my hands. All right. So this puppy here. There it is. Alright, so there's that. We got all the screws back in there. It feels solid once again. Oh crap. I forgot the hard drive. Damn it, I have to open it back up. Oh, psych. Alright. Once again, open it. Hit the power button. Jesus. That is such a big difference. Great. So, like I said, this is beautiful. Everything worked just fine. You guys, here at Guiolante, it's just about life. It's all about saving a buck or having some fun. Alright? So, you guys subscribe. You never know what the next video is going to be about. It could be about a car. It could be about a drone. It could be about a damn laptop that's too slow. And I was not going to go purchase no laptop because looking at the resources, I could tell the resources that were being utilized on the laptop, I could tell that it was actually the hard drive that just kept spinning for some reason. Alright, so once again, just videos about life in general. Whether it be hats and new funky stuff coming out, whatever it may be. You guys stay tuned. Subscribe.